Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 10th of July, the first important news, that is Parliamentary Committee proposed the amendment to Forest Act, something important both for prelims and mains examination. You can get question here and there directly relevant for the examination purposes. Second, that is Data Protection Bill may lower the age of consent and norm. This is again important. There have been a lot of news related to the data protection. Third, that is report highlight impact of pandemic on education. So the ministry has come up with the details. What was the impact of the pandemic and how the outcome of the individual has been hampered. Second last, that is agencies to estimate the size of digital economy. And the last is an editorial restoring the WTO crown jewel. Very, very important article, a brilliant article that will give you an idea about the WTO dispute settlement system. And this is something which is very important for your mains examination person. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. Starting this session with the first news, that is Parliamentary Committee proposed amendment to Forest Act, something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation, and EIA. So according to the Parliamentary Committee, which was actually set up to examine the part of the controversial, which was proposed in the amendment of the Forest Conservation Act 1980, basically committee ने कुछ चीजों को endorse किया and they have passed up the amendment bill. Now this particular bill will ensure that things are put in right place and the environment sustainability and protection are given the highest priority. Right? So the report was prepared by a 31-member committee. This is a big member committee. Usually they used to have 10-member committee. So this was 31-member committee for the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill, which is expected to be tabled in the Parliament monsoon session, which is starting. There are a lot of other bills which is still pending. Even if you see the part of the data protection bill, the conservation bill. So these bill will be very important. If you're writing mains this year, those of you will be writing mains this year, make sure you have a track on it. Now the bill seeks to amend a pivotal part of 1980 laws, which was enacted to ensure forest land is not want only or expressed for the non-forest purposes. So there's certain category which has been characterized what is non-purpose forest. I'll tell you and what are the things that you need to keep in mind. Now, power to issue the directions. Basically, this with regards to directive, there's certain power that has been given. So the act empower the center, that is the union government or the central government, that require any forest land diverted to the non-forestry purpose that should be duly compensated, right? So this power rests with the union government, and it also extend and remit the part of land which is not officially classified as forest in the state on union territory. So these power can be overridden by the central government. The bill adds that the central government may issue directives for the implementation of this act, और अगर किसी authority organizations की बात करें under the recognitions by the center, state and union territories. Now, restrictions on the activities in forest. So how things will work. So the act restricts that the de-reservations of forest or the use of forest land for the non-forest purposes will be there. Such restrictions may be lifted with the prior approval of the central government. As I've told you, the whole sole authority will rest with the union government. So now non-forest purposes की अगर बात करें, this include the use of land for cultivation of horticulture crops and any other purposes other than afforestations, right? Now, कुछ specific criteria or ऐसे activities हैं that will be excluded for the non-forest purposes that include restrictions on the de-reservation of forest, use of forest land of the non-forest purposes will not apply. So these points are relevant even for prelims examination. They can directly ask you the statement. Now, activities की अगर बात करें, that is related to the conservation, management and development of the forest, जो wildlife होंगी, such as establishing the checkpoint, fire lines, fencing and wireless communications, these things will be taken into consideration और overall जो part of conservation efforts है उसको technology की मदद से भी बढ़ाई जाएगी. Now, exemptions categories of land. There's certain land which is exempted on this part. This is again important for your examination also. So this will exempt certain land from of the previous act, such as forest land and rail land and road public maintained by the government providing access to habitation. चाहे वो रेल की हो, रोड साइड एमिनिटीज हो और मैक्सिमम क्या पे रखेंगे ये 0.10 हेक्टेयर की, राइट. सो दिस वैल्यू माइट बी रेलेवेंट फॉर एग्जामिनेशन. मेक श्योर यू नो दिस, राइट. एंड फॉरेस्ट लैंड विल ऑल्सो बी एग्जेम्प्टेड. उसमें कुछ चीज़ों को इंक्लूड की गई है. कौन कौन से ऐसे लैंड एग्जेम्प्टेड होंगे? द लैंड विद इन 100 किलोमीटर्स ऑफ इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर विल बी एग्जेम्प्टेड. लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल की जो लैंड्स होंगी वो एग्जेम्प्टेड होंगी. लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल proposed to be constructed for strategic linear project that is relevant for national security or for national importance, ऐसी projects को exclude रखा जाएगा, exempted categories में रखा जाएगा. So this is again important. You should know this. And logically, if you make out, you can definitely eliminate even the statement is given in the MCQs. Now, land up to 10 hectare proposed to be used for the construction of security related infrastructure will be exempted. And land proposed for using the construction of defense related project like camp, paramilitary forces, public utility projects by the central government, even for the left wing extremist area, that will be also exempt. Now, moving to the other news, data protection bill may lower the age of consent and norms, something important for general studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So the upcoming data protection bill that will empower the government to lower the age of consent. So at current, the age of consent is 18 because 18 is considered as adult. और इंडिया में जो सिटीजन राइट्स हैं, वोटिंग राइट्स की अगर बात करें वो 18 के बाद ही मिलती है. बट इन डेटा पार्ट द कंसेंट माइट बी लोअर. देयर इज सम कंसेंसस व्हिच विल बी मेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट. So certain exemptions will be given by the companies which will be adhering to additional obligation seeking the protections of child privacy if there is a part of very well safe data that is there, right? And even just to remind you, in the part of the Supreme Court judgment in K.S. Puttaswamy, right? You must be aware of that. So K.S. Puttaswamy की judgment में already Supreme Court ने right to privacy को एक fundamental right के तौर पे categorize किया. The changes was made on the account of the considerations where child can be independent and the stakeholders for the internet which want to access the services and they do not require to have the parent consent depending that particular item is verifiable and safe in nature. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप कोई भी content बिना guardian के consent के कर सकते. That should be educational purposes or many other sort of purposes will be categorically mentioned. Now, changing from the earlier provisions, जो पुराने rules हैं और उसमें क्या provisions में change की गई है. So there is a major departure from the draft Digital Protection Bill 2022, जो कि भी काफ़ी recent है. उसमें से क्या क्या changes की गई है. जो age of consent होंगी that will be changed, right? Which means that the processing of data of an individual below the age do not require the consent of the parents depending upon what kind of content they are going to utilize, right? So the upcoming bill is understood will take the graded approach to define the part of age of consent case by case basis. Now global practices की अगर बात करें under the European Union General Data Protection Regulation, कुछ ऐसे और countries हैं apart from European Union, basically US is also doing, but we are taking consideration first for European Union. So they have make the age of consent for children at 16 and even it allow the member as low as 30. So depending upon the content. Again, the United States Child Online Privacy Protection, that is also known as COPA, have capped the age of consent to 30. तो ये कुछ दो countries, I mean European Union as together and United States, इन दोनों ने अपने consent age को कम रखा. The change will allow the platform to develop a strong, proven and verified safeguards ताकि जो चाइल्ड की प्रोटेक्शंस हैं, अब इन पेरेंटल कंसेंट की जहाँ ज़रूरत नहीं है वहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ एजुकेशनल रिलेटेड कंटेंट्स को ही अलाउ किया जाए, एंड समथिंग दैट इज रिलेटेड टू द पार्ट ऑफ एजुकेशन एंड पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एन इंडिविजुअल. Now, just to give you the brief idea, if you want to read more how things have worked out, you can even pause this video or you can take the screenshot. तो यहाँ पे आपको सारी चीज़ें मिल जाएंगे. This is the journey how it's actually started from 2017 by the Sri Committee, which has actually come up for the data protection bill for 2018, 19 and 22 की journey. This is again important if you're writing in mains. Make sure you can briefly highlight this. And if you want to read more, you can check out all these details as I mentioned. Now, moving to the other news, that is, a report highlights the impact of pandemic on education, something important for General Studies Paper 2. That is the issues related to development and management of education and human resources. So, Ministry of Education ने performing grading index release किया. This is a combined report for 2021 and 2022, और इसमें कुछ important चीज़ों को access की गई है, like the performance of the education system at district level. So at the top, like we have a panchayat level, we have a village level, then we have district level, then we have state level, then we have a national level, where NIRF जैसे important ranking भी की जाती है. तो यहाँ पे डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल की रैंकिंग की गई है और जो परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड एजुकेशन सिस्टम है उसके बारे में बताई गई. The report noted that the pandemic has led to the decline in the education performances in many districts of the country. Now, school closures की अगर बात करें, that has brought significant disruption across the country. This is an evidential fact. All of us know that कितनी ज़्यादा impact हुई थी education में जब school closures हुए थे and online classes were even not functioning with the full potential. The ultimate objective of the part of the index that was released by the government, और जो index release की गई है, is to help the district and to prioritize the area and interventions for their school education, does improve the part of highest grade. Now, performance grading states की अगर बात करें, see there are certain categories that has been come up. अगर बात करें कुछ important categories की जो गवर्नमेंट ने PGI के लिए रखी हुई है, that include दक्ष, जो ऐसे परफॉर्मेंस हैं जो 90% से ऊपर हैं. Accordingly, it follows by the path of उत्कर्ष, अति उत्तम, उत्तम, प्रश्रेष्ठा, right? So these are certain categories which are there. You can check one by one. तो certain percent के हिसाब से उनको रैंकिंग की जाएगी और रैंकिंग दी जाएगी. So the lower grade is Akashni 3 for all district with less than 10%. और ऐसी कोई भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं है इंडिया में, I mean in the survey, जिसको दक्ष या उत्कर्ष की कैटेगरी में रखा गया हो. The starting one is from अति उत्तम. I'll tell you which are the district or the state that come under अति उत्तम. तो ऐसे कौन कौन से स्टेट्स हैं जिनकी परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ट रही है among all? So Chandigarh has become and retained the part of अति उत्तम, right? The upper two limits तो नहीं है. अति उत्तम की जो part आप देखेंगे 71 to 80%, right? Now followed by the part of Delhi and Gujarat, Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Kolhapur, Nasik, Mumbai. These have achieved the status, followed by Kolkata, right? The status did. Tamil Nadu have a several part where 4th grade where they're given, and कुछ और important districts है, Padukudi, Teni, and the part of Ramantapuram, जहाँ पे रामेश्वरम important place है. ये सारी को ranking में उत्तम की ranking मिली. Now Uttar Pradesh has a several district which has come under the part of Uttam and Prashita. More other part include Jammu and Kashmir that fall under the Prashita grade with grade 1 and grade 2. Now इसकी ranking की अगर बात करें, इस report में जो PGID की report आई है, district level की report, so this has certain part and certain weightage that has been given as per the categories. तो कुछ indicators रखे गए हैं that has been characterized, और इस स्ट्रक्चर में 600 पॉइंट के ऊपर सारे 6 कैटेगरीज बनाए गए हैं. एंड दिस 6 कैटेगरीज आर फर्दर एलोबरेटेड. आई विल टेल यू व्हिच आर द कैटेगरीज. फॉर जस्ट गिव मी द 6 कैटेगरीज जस्ट टू लेट यू नो. ये 6 कैटेगरीज हैं: आउटकम्स, इफेक्टिव क्लासरूम ट्रांजिशंस, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, school safety and protections, digital learning, and government processes. These are further elaborated in detail. I'll tell you that which are the 12 broad areas, right? तो कौन कौन से ऐसे डोमेन्स हैं जो इन 12 कैटेगरीज के अंदर आते हैं. सो दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ लर्निंग आउटकम एंड क्वालिटी, एक्सेस टू आउटकम एंड टीचर अवेलेबिलिटी, प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट आउटकम, लर्निंग मैनेजमेंट, लर्निंग एनरिचमेंट एक्टिविटीज, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, और क्या फैसिलिटीज दी गई हैं बच्चों को, स्टूडेंट की क्या इंटाइटलमेंट्स हैं, student safety and protections, digital learning because this has become very important, funds and convergence and utilization, attendance and monitoring system, and the part of school leadership and development. Many of the school are having leadership program to motivate the student from the primary level itself and give them the right track to go further and proceed with their personal development as well. Now, moving to the other news, that is Center plan to hire agencies to estimate the size of digital economy. This is important for General Studies Paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. Now, if you see the part of the government intention, government ने इस तरह की चीजों को क्यों हायर किया? Because see, the part of the digital transaction is in the boom. India is a country which has the highest even UPI or any kind of digital transaction, right? So center has reportedly higher agencies जो कि measure करेंगी इंडिया की digital economy क्या है, and even this is expected that India's economy, digital economy can reach up to 1 trillion by 2025. It's not far, it's close to year and there. So 2 years down the line, we'll be achieving this target. The agency will with the period of 9 months for the completion of this task. This is what the report has actually said from the government end. Now, mandate क्या होगी एजेंसीज की? जो एजेंसी रिक्रूट की जाएगी उनके पास उनको क्या जिम्मेवारी दी जाएगी? So the agencies would be liable to submit the part of report estimated on the digital economy size, projections of the current financial year, and the submissions will be undertaken by the Ministry of Electronics and IT. Within 32 weeks, the date of submissions will be there as per the report. The center is requested for the proposal that aims to invite the positions in the area, estimations and measurement for India's digital economy, including the formulation and its frameworks. It underlines the process to be done capturing data and identifying the digital interventions. Now, state की ranking और उसके shares की भी बात की गई. This is again important. So, which state is contributing and which state will contribute, we'll have a forecast to that. So, the agency will look into the part of ranking and the share of the state in the digital economy, चाहे वो e-commerce की impact हो या फिर पूरे emerging technologies की. So, the review part will take the collective actions that will require for the collaborations between the government and even for the private school and the sector schools. So, Ministry of Electronics and part of things, IT ministries, they have published the report जहाँ पे India $1 trillion digital opportunities के साथ 30 digital theme, development of IT infrastructure, software capabilities, healthcare educations, and even the part of next generation financial services will be taken into consideration. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, that is restoring the World Trade Organization crown jewel. Again, very, very important editorial. They will give you the insight on the part of the World Trade Organization's dispute resettlement system. Important for General Studies Paper 2, that is the part of important international institutions, agencies, structure, and their mandate. So if you look at the part of the editorial, the theme is about the WTO dispute settlement system. और कुछ important themes की अगर बात करें, researching the part of WTO settlement system, the present problems, article 33.2 जो है उसे देखेंगे. This is again important for both prelims and mains examination. And dejudicializations and true multilateralism, America के context में, and even the part of conclusions. So dispute settlement की अगर बात करें, this is again an important forum for any organization, be it for any organization, the grievance redressal is very important. But in this context, when we are talking about WTO की एक बहुत ही powerful body है dispute settlement system, जिसको कि काफ़ी टाइम से एकदम dysfunction रखा गया है. No, they have been not functioning well because of America's intention. They have been vetoing on the part of the selections of the members. तो इसके बहुत ही geopolitical deep down understandings होनी चाहिए. If you are a student from PSI or optional, you need to deep down on the topic. But for general perspective, I'll give you an idea why the things are working in a worst conditions. So dispute settlement is a central pillar for the multi-trading system. And even the WTO unique distribution system की अगर बात करें, this called for stability in the global economy. Now, in June 2022, what has happened that the member countries for the World Trade Organization has managed to hammer out the face-saving deal, but still there's no conclusive evidential or result-oriented part that was required. Now, India play an important role in the Geneva Ministerial Conference, thereby keeping the faith in the multilateralism alive. और इंडिया ने कई बार WTO की जो dispute settlement system है उसको revive करने की बात की है, but this is being blocked by United States. restructuring the part of the WTO dispute settlement. Since 2019, what has happened that WTO की जो DSS है, dispute settlement system, that have remained paralyzed. Why? You need to know that because the appellate body, which is a second tier body of WTO, hears the appeals from WTO panel एक non-functional है because United States ने single-handedly block किया है appointment of members की because they have the veto pass and other pass, so they have blocked it, right? The appellate authority, which was functioning from 1995 to 2019, बहुत सारी ऐसे इंटरनेशनल रूलिंग उन्होंने दी है जो कि यूएस के अगेंस्ट भी थी और यूरोपियन यूनियन के भी अगेंस्ट थी और इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर को ध्यान में रखते हुए वो डिसीजन ली गई. However, the appellate body has become the victim of the success because see, the things when I'm working against a country or any organization, definitely these countries will dominate it. So that is what is actually happening in the context of WTO dispute settlement system, or you can better call it DSS, right? So one time US has become the most Arabic and aesthetic in the part, and they're not willing to revive the part of the WTO DSS. Now the precedent problem की अगर बात करें, see if you see the US approaches जो appellate body को लेकर के है, judicial overreach की बात की गई है, and even exceeding the part of assigned institutional mandate. So ये भी सवाल आपसे पूछे जा सकते हैं that the global judicial outreach has actually made the things more repercussive in nature. तो इसके क्या impact होंगे global economies पे और या फिर उसके revival की उस institutions पे क्या impact होंगे. Now it argues that the time the appellate body role has been defined precisely, it cannot be revived. Now, major problems की अगर बात करें that US have identified that the appellate body, in contrary to the part of WTO settlement understanding, has been creating the binding precedent through its decision. देखो होता क्या है कि when any ruling comes, so that is either binding or not binding. But WTO की जो rulings थी, खास करके specifically DSS की, that is dispute resolution, that was binding. That had made things more worse, and that has created a problem for country. They feel that why will be bound to our judgment. So that is sole point. But if you see the part of dispute settlement, the ultimate aim is to give the resolutions. तो ये बातों को लेकर के भी यूएस ने काफी हद तक इसकी प्रोटेस्ट की. The well established is that the no rules sterilized, that is no rules for president in the international law should be prevailing. This is what the intention has been in terms of establishing, और ये एक ऐसी basically theme है या फिर हम बोल सकते हैं इस तरह की precedent है जो कि कोई कंट्री उसको एडर नहीं करना चाहती है, राइट? नो वन वांट दैट कि कोई एक रूलिंग हो उस कंट्री के पूरे जो डिसीजन मेकिंग उसको चेंज करे. Now there's article 3.2, again very important, जिसमें कुछ चीजों को मेंशन की गई है that found that neither add or not dismiss the right of an obligations under the WTO of the member countries. तो ये आर्टिकल में कुछ कंट्रोल्ड पावर की बात की गई, but the functioning of the DSS what has actually been at the top level, right, the top notch. So the dispute settlement system of the WTO has a central element providing security, predictability to the multi-trading system. Now, इसी में अगर बात करें consistency की, that has been that WTO की जो agreements हैं without creating a binding precedent will not be of any use. This is what the DSS feel, but the counter country said that this is something that they will not adhere with. The requiring striking balance is essentially required, जहाँ पे appellate body के साथ जो पैनल्स हैं उनको भी इनकरेज करने की जरूरत है, and even interpreting the part, especially when it comes to the issues with the same. But let's see whether the revival will go or not, because if US is blocking, European Union has its support, so it is not possible that this will get the permanent members. Now, de-judicialization और trade multilateralism की बात की गई है, तो large game है. US seems to be de-judicializing the part और multilateralism की तरफ आगे बढ़ने की. By de-judicialization I mean जो judicial power है, जो actual appellate की power है, binding power है, उसको कम करने की या उसको खत्म करने की कोशिश की. The WTO has created a world that was resplendent with the part of neoliberal consensus, and even Cold War has collapsed the communalists. WTO has become a weak-handed and basically pot to regulate the global trade. The period saw that the liberalization of international relations, but it also the part of judicialisms, or you can say the judicializations. Now to conclude this, how and what is the essential element that you need to know in that aspect? आप बता सकते हैं that United States is hostile and they never wanted कि जो यूएस की WTO की जो डिस्प्यूट सेटलमेंट सिस्टम उसकी पूरी तरह से रिकवरी हो पाए 2024, विच इंडिया हैज बिन पिचिंग फॉर दैट दिस इज समथिंग विच इज अ मैंडेट। एक ग्लोबल ऑर्डर को मेंटेन करने के लिए इस तरह की डिस्प्यूट सेटलमेंट सिस्टम बहुत ही ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, नहीं तो किसी एक कंट्री की ओवर रूलिंग पावर से भी इम्पैक्ट होगी। WTO procedures underscore the part of rule of law which make the trading system more secure and predictable. This system is based on the clarity rule defined by the timeless and competing the part case. And it is important to regenerate the part of WTO dispute settlement system, which calls for WTO crown jewel by 2024. So if you see 2024 में इसकी revival एक important component होगी, and definitely for global order for many other countries, specifically for Asia and South Asian country, they were directly or indirectly reliable and they were relying on the part of WTO dispute settlement. तो इंडिया जैसे कंट्रीज के लिए और जो छोटे कंट्रीज हैं उनके लिए ये फोरम एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट फोरम थी, जिसकी बेसिकली जो अवार्ड थी, जो जजमेंट थी, वो बाइंडिंग नेचर की होती, राइट? सो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन कंक्लूड द book. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is D. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको बताना है antimicrobial resistance के बारे में. This is there in the news. It occurs in bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites, and no longer respond to medicine. The drugs, resistance, antibiotics, and other antibacterial medicine become ineffective. So do check out for the correct option. Second is about the Leith Schwab Seth turtle. It's a freshwater soft sea turtle that is endemic to the peninsular India, and it is classified as endangered species by IUCN. So do check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more current affair question will give you an added advantage in the real examination, and we have a lot more other platform where questions are put on. So do check it out. आप काफ़ी सोशल मीडिया में भी हमारे क्वेश्चंस को प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis. If you have any queries about the courses, admissions, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.